Hey guys, OuterOrange here. You can't really see me, but there's my head. Привет все. Hello everyone. I am here with a Granblue standard Vanguard deck profile. We have our main starter right here. For those of you who know me, I'm usually a gamer. I recently got into card games, specifically Vanguard, and this is the deck I started with, and I absolutely love it. It recently got updated. It's 2020. Well, not recently. It's been a couple months since I got the booster. But I wanted to share with you guys my deck profile. So this is the starter, but we're gonna pop on to the grade 3s first. So in this deck, your main ride target is right here. This is called the Prison Necromancer. Very strong card. You ride it, counterblast, mill 4, bring 2 back, and then for any grade 3 in your soul, you get to bring back more cards. So if you have 1 grade 3 in soul, you can bring back 3 cards and so on and so forth. Really good ride target. Definitely really fun. A little scary in the danger zone when you start milling out, because that's what this deck is main focus on, is milling. But other than that, very fun. Very fun card. Your next grade 3 would be your Skull Dragons. I'm gonna put them right here so you guys can see them. We got the Skull Dragons. These guys are super high in power. You get 2k for everything in your drop, so you mill with your Necromancer, bring this bad boy out with Necromancer. You start swinging for crazy numbers. You have 20, that's 52 that you're swinging for. Really good card. I run 3 in case 1 falls into the draw, into damage, or 1 I have to ride. Because another reason why I like this card is, say you don't get your Necromancer ride, this card does suck to ride first. However, it does have a protect marker, so even though you're riding into it, you're going to be pressuring the opponent with high numbers, and you get a protect marker for next turn, so it helps you survive a little bit longer just to get to your grade. The only thing that sucks is that it doesn't mill, so it's kind of hard to get to what you want unless you like draw into other more useful cards. So that's the Skull Dragon. Next we have 2 Flangers. This card is pretty nice. I run 2 just in case 1 also ends up in damage. This card is Soul Blast, a grade 3. Discard a number of cards in your hand. It gets plus 5k. You can't guard with Sentinels. And then on top of that, for everything you discard, whatever the grade is, your opponent cannot guard with those anymore. So this is really nice for a good finisher. And I'll be talking more about this card later with some other synergy that I like to go with this card. But this gets very scary, and then you run triggers on it, and it just... This is your finisher, essentially. So this is your Flanger. And then our final grade 3 is one little Baskirk. So Baskirk is kind of your safety kit card. In case you're starting to see you're milling out and you have him in your hand, you ride this bad boy and you pretty much stop yourself from the milling, because he calls stuff out, but he does not mill. So this card becomes pretty useful late game when you're starting to suffer and you start hitting your deck under like 10 cards, and you really don't want to risk it. And while Necromancer, wherever he went, Necromancer, he gains a critical late game. This gains a critical after like 10 cards are in your drop. So this is more consistent for the crit and damage, whereas this you have to get in the danger zone for this to start doing stuff. So that's why you have the safety kit here. You get your crit, you get your damage, you can take 1 card out of your drop zone out with some costly stuff, and you swing, you know? So this is just very safe. You get your protect marker. You're still pressuring your opponent. It's just a little bit weaker, but you still want to run 1 just in case. Also, with other cases later on, you'll notice that running this card is actually pretty helpful in certain circumstances. But that's our grade 3 lineups, and then we're gonna switch over to our grade 2s. My favorite card, well, it's not my favorite card, but it's definitely up there because this card's pretty awesome. But you got your Greed Shades. Let me show the pretty one. Be pretty. But you got your Greed Shades. Very fun card. This card is discard a card. We're on rearguard circle. Discard a card, put 2 cards from the top of your deck to your drop, and then you could take 1 card out of your entire drop back to your hand that's not Greed Shade. So if you need a perfect guard, you got it. You need your grade 3 ride, you got it. You need the extra shield for a trigger unit, you got it. Like, this card gets you that guarantee. You discard, but you get what you need. And the good part about it is, because Granblue is all about your drop zone, you discard one of these bad boys, and you have them in drop now. So whenever you use Necromancer skill, you can just bring back your Flanger. So it's really, this card is very powerful. It's kind of what made the current version of this deck at its strongest. The other cards are nice and all, but this definitely was what made this deck stronger, because this deck used to be extremely weak in the old version of it, but now definitely good. This was definitely a big changer, and hopefully, I can't wait. They announced in Vanguard that more Granblue cards are coming. I can't wait to synergize this with other cards and future stuff. But yeah, Greed. Your next target, and this is when I kind of start getting a little weird with my cards, but I run 3 Rune Shades. So Rune Shade is an amazing card. It works on Vanguard, works on Rearguard. You can mill with it. You get power. If you have 10 and drop, you get more power. For milling, you get power. This becomes a 17k hitter late game. Well, not late game, but pretty much anytime you're past 10 and you decide to mill, because you don't have to mill. This card becomes very strong. It's a really good grade 2. It's really good if you go protect 2 and you're swinging for 22 now. It hits some nice numbers. I only run 3 because of milling out. I don't like to run 4. I honestly, at some point, I was even running 2. I put it at 3 because 3 is kind of a good number just in case I need it out on the field. I don't consistently use this card, but I really like this card early on. And this is kind of why I put it at 3, because I want this card. I want it to be my ride target, and I want Greed to be my rearguard target, because this is a Vanguard rearguard skill, and this is only a rearguard skill, and that's why I like this card for early on. Later on, I honestly don't use this as much as I could, but that's just, this is where I keep it at, is 3. And then our next card is Ghost Ship. Storm Ride Ghost Ship. This card is very nice. I always kind of question where I want to put this with 2 or 3. Because this is, the only thing that sucks about this card is it's kind of a dead card in your hand. You can't block with it, even though it says 5k. You can intercept, but you can't block with it. You have to PG it out. You have to soul blast it out. You have to keep it. You have to get it from drop zone. You pretty much, it's a dead hand. It's a dead card in your hand. The only time it becomes useful is if it's your only grade 2 to ride. And then again with the Greed Shade, if you need a secondary column here, you ride this and then you get the Greed Shade to get a skill. But other than that, this card is definitely a dead card, and unless you're going protect 1, this doesn't, it's really hard to get this out of your hand otherwise. Though there are definitely ways, like you can use Greed Shade to discard this card, keep it in drop. This is the best in drop. It hits for 24. This card is awesome. On top of the fact that it hits for 24, you retire it and draw a card, so you have a draw, you have a +1ing on drawing. It's very nice. I just don't really like it late game because it forces you to draw. And because you're forced to draw, you're chancing yourself to mill out quicker. So I keep it at 2. And then finally, this is with our safety kit, Baskirk. I run 2 Captain Nightmist. So Captain Nightmist, you place him, you counter blast, you take anything from your drop zone, and put it on the field as long as you're past 10 cards. If you're not past 10 cards, you can only call grade 1s. This card works really well with Baskirk. So say you have your Baskirk out, and he can only call 1 card out, right? So you're not really pressuring your opponent very much. However, if you have this in your hand, you call this out, you use your counterblast skill, you bring something back from drop zone, suddenly you have 2 columns, you call over this. So this with Baskirk goes very well. I didn't used to run this, and then I put it back in because I've definitely found opportunities where I needed this. I keep it at 2 because this isn't ideal, and it's circumstantial. So I've been putting this at 2. You're not always gonna be riding Baskirk because what you're pushing for is the Cocytus, and because you're pushing for the Cocytus, with Cocytus you don't need this because the Cocytus does the work for you, but Baskirk doesn't, so you need this in that variant. That's why I keep it at 2. And then moving on to our grade 1s, of course, we run the staple Dandy Guy Romario. Very amazing early game card. You ride this bad boy, and as long as you have a couple grade 3s in your hand, or even 1 even if it's flanger, because he doesn't have a protect, so you usually don't want to ride him. But anyway, this card helps you get to that skill that Necromancer has. For every grade 3, you put extra units out. So pretty much what this card does is when he's rode upon, you counterblast, put a card into your hand, mill 3, bring 1 card back. This is awesome. It's like a mini Greed Shade, but you also put something in your soul, and this is the only card that allows you to put stuff into your soul. Everything else soul blasts. So that's what's nice about this, is like you get an extra card in soul. If you put a grade 3 in, it procs Necromancer's you procs the Cocytus skill, and then with this being said, it puts you ahead, and you mill on top of that. Like this is like a must card. It's a really awesome card. Love this card. Shiny. This card is my friend. Next we have, and like I said, these get a little weird. I run 3 Banshees. Some people choose to run 4. And again, I have a similar problem with this card as I do with the Ghost Ship. I put this at 3, and I'll explain more why I put this at 3. You can keep it at 4. And trust me, it's good. I like to keep it at 3, and this is a nice skill. When placed from drop zone, you Soul Blast and you draw a card, and she gets plus 4k, so she becomes a 12k hitter during your turn, which is super nice. However, like I said, late game, when you use a Necromancer skill, Cocytus, they're both the same. But anyway, you use Cocytus' skill, right? And you say you have like a column going, which by the way, this column is very nice. But if you have a column like this going, and you activate her skill, and you activate this skill, you get plus 2 cards, which is really nice early on. But late game, you don't want this anymore. Late game, you're trying to kill, right? So you're mostly discarding, trying to get your flanger set up. You're doing other things late game, and putting these 2 units out forces you to mill out faster. So once you start hitting that danger zone of 13 and less cards, you kind of start being weary about calling these 2 out, and you kind of don't want to call them out unless you're just absolutely desperate and have no other choice. But that's why I put her at 3. She's nice, but early game nice. And another thing I like about her, she causes you to Soul Blast. So in case you have a grade 3 in your soul that you want to get out to later on use, this definitely does the work for you. But yeah, we put it at 3. Good card, fun stuff. Next, which is my weird guy, I do run 1 of Dragon Spirit. And some people actually judge me. I went to regionals in Atlanta in October. Was it October? I'm pretty sure it was October, but just recently, it was in 2019, and people judged me for bringing this card out. I was doing really good early on in regionals. I actually won the first 5 games, but anyway, not trying to flex. But this card is a 16k booster when it comes from drop zone after you have 10 or more. It gets 4k for having 10 or more, and it gets another 4k because it's coming from drop zone. So the reason I like this, you put Flanger here, you bring this out. Suddenly your flanger is 17 plus 16 hitting. Very, very nice numbers. That's like what, 27? Oh god, we're mathing. 20. That's 33, right? That's a 33k hitting column. If you go protect 2 on this, now it's a 38 hitting column. If you put 2 protects 2 on it, suddenly it's a 43k hitting column. And the whole point about this, why this is so nice, is because if you discard, say you can only discard 0s and 1s, say you don't have 2s. The person's gonna have to go through a lot of 2s or land a defense before they can not get hit by this. And if you have a trigger on this, they're probably dead. This gives an 8k boosted power that Banshee and Romario don't give. Romario gives 12. Banshee gives 8 after your turn is gone. So if she's still on the field, she's 8k. This gives 16 though. That's an 8 power difference, which is literally 1 intercept difference. So if you're going against Gold Paladins or you're going against like a bunch of Excel decks, they have to guard with another grade 2 just because of this. That's 1 more card out of their hand. That's 1 more thing they have to worry about. 1 more intercept, whatever it is, because the flanger doesn't avoid intercepts. People can intercept through this if they have to. If he's the only one on the field, if they have the intercepts, they can avoid this card. However, if they don't and you have this guy out, this is really hard to take on. And that's why I run 1, because once I mill out 1, I'm good. Another reason I like him is if I really need to get him into drop and I have him in my hand, I just PG and call it a day, you know? He's also an 8k base power, which is really good. Even if you ride him, it kind of sucks to ride him. But even as a ride, he's 8k base. So this is why I run 1 of these over the Banshee, because late game, I think this is better. Early game, I think Banshee is better. So I only run 1 because, honestly, once he's in drop, you're fine. You just got to get him to drop. Sometimes there are rare occasions where he doesn't come out, but for me, I haven't had really any problems with him. He's come out. So that's that. And then for our final grade 1 units, we have our grade 1 Perfect Guards. I actually used to hate this card, and now I'm starting to like it more and more the more I use it. I used to run it at 3 because, you get so many Perfect Guards out of just Greed Shade and everything. You don't really need 4. You do, but you don't, if you know what I mean. Like, once you have like 3 in your drop, you can just keep recycling them with the Greed Shade. However, even like early on, if you don't get Romario, you place this, you draw from your starter, you draw from this, and you discard. It's really good for recycling, and just kind of like if you don't like your hand and you're really trying to push to say you're missing a grade 2 or a grade 3, you get 2 extra cards out of this. You do have to discard, but it kind of filters out your hand nicely, and I definitely like this card more. And then it's a Perfect Guard too, so you're like boom, like just nice to have. So I really like this card. I definitely like it as a grade 1 over the grade 0 PGs. I think it does a really good job of what it's worth, and yeah. good stuff. So we're done with our ones. We're going on to our triggers. We are definitely for all the pressure and all the flanger business. We're going 4 crit, 8 crit, 12 crit. I definitely think this is ideal for the full potential attack of this build. And then of course you run like the 4 heals. I think this is a really good strategy. The crits are very scary. Running 12 is very scary. Sometimes I've actually went to regionals like this. I did exchange 1 crit out for a PG to throw people off, like the grade 0 PG, and then I switched out my grade 1 PG for another Dragon Spirit, just because people would be counting people count your drop zone a lot. So it's just my way of cheesing. But I'll put 11 triggers in. Well, it's still 12, but I'll put 11 crits in. And put 1 like a regular Sentinel, and then that way when they see they'll count my drop zone thinking like oh there's like another crit coming or whatever, but in reality I only have 11. You don't have to do that. It's just minor stuff that I like to do to throw people off. This is ideal. This is very good. You want to keep it at this. It's very nice. Very consistent. You have that 100%. Well, pretty much 100%. I'm going to crit you no matter what you do. Business. Like people try to want to pass you and you're like crit. People will no pass you because they don't want to take the crit. It's very nice. A very good guarding. Like this is awesome. So that's the entire deck pretty much. Or how I play it out. I know I have like a little bit difference from like other people that like to go this deck. I haven't had any trouble with it so far. I've actually been really enjoying the deck. The deck itself is not like in the highest of tiers. I think it's like tier C, B-ish. Probably more C in current meta of Vanguard in 2020 of January. However, I think this deck is super fun. If you like graveyard decks, I highly recommend it. It's not too crazy on price to build. It's very fun to play around with. It's really fun to scare people off with this guy. People hate this card. I love that people hate this card because I love whipping it out on people. Very fun stuff. But yeah, this deck is great, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little. My personal take on how I play current Granblue on Standard. I will be making another video once all the new cards come out, and I'll be showing you guys my next deck, like my next build of Granblue, because I love Granblue and I can't wait to see what more they have in store for us in 2020 for Vanguard. Very excited. I've been following a lot of YouTubers, and I love where we're going. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So Granblue, yeah. So that's about it. I'm pretty much done with the video. I want to thank you guys for those who did watch through all this. I appreciate it. You guys can like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. I know this is very different from my normal content. For those of you who guys been following me on YouTube for a while, I usually do games and just strictly games. But recently, I've really been busy, and my way to get away from all my schoolwork and work and just everything and programming is recently been this. It's been really hard for me to sit down and play video games on my PlayStation 4, but it's been really easy for me to sit down and play a game of Vanguard with my best friends. I've been having a lot of fun with this and a lot of fun with them, and it's just been a real stress reliever for me. So that's why I kind of have been offline on YouTube. But I am making this video because I love this deck so much, and I hope you guys can like see it for those of you who need it. Because there hasn't been a recent video of Granblue, obviously, because the booster's already gone for this set. It released quite a bit ago, but I wanted 2020 to start out with just another Granblue deck for anyone who needs it, or anyone that wants to do some weird stuff. There are other variants too you can run. I think this is the strongest version of it, but not the strongest, but definitely the most reliable, because I think so. There's Solemn Vanguard and Vanguard Insider. They both have some pretty good versions of this deck too. They run their cards a little bit differently from mine, but for the most part, it does very similar things. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Sorry I've been gone from YouTube for a while. Glad to be back. I'm going to try and get back into my videos as much as I can. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys next time, and peace out, and do svidaniya.